When Layla walked out of her house that night, she carried only one small suitcase. No jewelry, no savings, no clear plan, just courage. The door closed quietly behind her, but inside her heart, a storm was raging. For 12 years, she had lived in that house. From the outside, it looked beautiful. White walls, a clean garden, smiling family photos hanging in the hallway. But sometimes, walls can hide many things. When Layla was a little girl, she was full of big dreams. She wanted to become an architect. She loved drawing buildings, strong buildings, the kind that could survive earthquakes and storms. She used to say, "I want to build places where people feel safe." But life had different plans. She married young. Everyone said she was lucky. Her husband had a stable job. The family was respected. "You won't have to struggle," people told her. But sometimes the hardest struggles are the ones no one can see. Slowly, year after year, Layla's voice became smaller. Her opinions were ignored. Her dreams were laughed at. When she talked about studying again, she heard, "Why? You already have everything." Everything except respect. Everything except peace. At first, she tried to adjust. She told herself sacrifice was normal. Maybe she was asking for too much. Maybe this was just what adulthood looked like. But one evening, while helping her 8-year-old daughter with homework, something changed. Her daughter looked up and asked softly, "Mom, what did you want to be when you were little?" Layla smiled gently. "An architect," she said. Her daughter's eyes sparkled. "Then why didn't you become one?" The question felt heavy, heavier than any hurtful word. Why didn't she? That night, Layla couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling and remembered the girl she used to be, the girl who believed she could build anything. Somewhere along the way, she had stopped building. She had started shrinking. The decision did not come suddenly. It grew quietly inside her, day by day, thought by thought, until one night, after another argument where her feelings were called too sensitive, she looked at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were tired, but behind the tiredness, there was still fire, and she understood something powerful. If she stayed, her daughter would learn that silence is normal. If she left, her daughter would learn that courage is possible. So she packed one suitcase. When she stepped into the cool night air, fear wrapped around her like cold wind. Where would she go? How would she survive? What would people say? But fear was no longer stronger than her need for dignity. She moved into a small apartment owned by an old university friend. The place was tiny. The paint was peeling. The kitchen sink leaked. But for the first time in years, Layla felt something new. Quiet. The first weeks were hard. Money was tight. She searched for jobs. Many employers asked, "Why haven't you worked in years?" "I was raising my child," she answered softly. Some nodded politely. Some never called back. There were nights she cried quietly so her daughter wouldn't hear. There were mornings when doubt whispered, "Maybe you made a mistake." But every time she saw her daughter studying at the small kitchen table, she reminded herself, this is what strength looks like. Not loud, not glamorous, just steady. One afternoon, while looking through job listings, she saw something. A part-time assistant position at a small architectural studio. Her heart began to race. She almost didn't apply. She felt behind, out of practice, too old to start again. But then she remembered the little girl drawing buildings under streetlights, so she sent her application. At the interview, the studio owner, a kind older woman named Miriam, looked through Layla's old drawings. "You still have talent," Miriam said quietly. For the first time in years, Layla felt seen. She got the job. The salary was small, but the opportunity was big. She worked during the day and studied at night. She relearned software. She studied building rules. She asked questions bravely. Month after month, her confidence returned, brick by brick. One day, Miriam asked her to design a small community center. Layla worked late into the night. She added large windows for light, strong foundations for safety, open spaces for connection. When the design was approved, Layla stepped outside and cried. Not from sadness, from pride. Years later, Layla had her own small design firm. It wasn't famous, it wasn't huge, but every building she created carried one message: you deserve a safe place. One afternoon, at the opening of a community library she designed, her daughter, now a teenager, stood beside her and whispered, "Mom, I want to be brave like you." Layla smiled softly. She had left with almost nothing, but slowly, patiently, bravely, she had built everything.